One of my favorite things about hockey is when it takes you to a different place. Like tonight, the Flames game was on TV in the restaurant, so I went to a different restaurant. The Calgary Flames had a terrible game against the Utah Mammoth, saved only somewhat by a comeback attempt in the third period, Ryan Pike, and they fall 2-0 at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. How was the opening line? Out of 10.
It wasn't very good. Before you go on, Mike's like, hold on, no one talked to me. I got to remember this opening line.
I got a line. I had one in my head. I thought it was okay. I don't know.
Apparently Mike's here under duress, guys.
It was difficult.
I don't know. So
this
the big bugaboo with the Calgary Flames through 4 games has been, the Calgary Flames haven't played a complete 60 minutes to this point. And heading into this game, that was definitely true. They had a good last 30 minutes against Edmonton. They had a good first 30 minutes against Vancouver and then ran out of gas. They had a good first 30 minutes against St. Louis and then kind of imploded. They had a good first 30 minutes against Vegas and then kind of imploded. There's a script. So they had a good first 10 minutes against Utah. Then they were dramatically, almost cataclysmically ungood for the next 30 minutes. And then their third period was pretty decent given the circumstances. But by that point, they're chasing. They're down by 2 goals. They're down by a goal. They were lucky to be not down by more than that. I believe, but there was a portion of this game where when they scored the opening game, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of this. They were trailing in shots 4-3 when they scored their first goal. And then just to see if I got the math right here, they gave up. So there was 4-3. So they were outshot 24-5 for the next 30 minutes of hockey. Even if you have a good third period, that's not a recipe for success.
Mike Gould here along with Ryan Pike on this Wednesday evening edition of the Afterburner show here from our studio in Marda Loop. And for me personally, this is my 5th consecutive Afterburner show.
Oh, God.
And the Flames have lost the last 4 in increasingly dispiriting ways.
That's a good word. I like dispiriting.
See, that's better than my intro.
That's you should lead with that. That's a better line.
I should have just spelled pneumono ultra microscopic silica volcanoconiosis, which is the longest word in the English language, 45 letters long.
What does it mean?
PNEUMONOULTRAMICROSCOPICSCOPICSILCANOCONIOSIS. That was more fulfilling to me than watching the second period of tonight's game.
I'm impressed you remember to spell. Okay, so what is?
It's a volcanic ash inhalation disease.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that sounds like it sucks too.
Pneumono ultra microscopic.
Because you're describing
silica volcanoconiosis.
Oh, because it's a descriptor of
the word describes
what happens
itself
to the lung, but also what the lung does to itself when it gets infected. Isn't
it cool?
That's very clever.
It's 45 letters long.
You redeemed your opener.
45 letters long. Yeah,
that's very long.
Yeah. And I think the Flames might go 45 games without scoring more than 3 goals in one of them. They scored 1 tonight. And if you could bet on the Flames how long it will take them to score 3 or more goals, more than 3 goals in a single game, I'm sure Bet365 probably has a prop somewhere. This show is presented by Bet365. It is certainly never, ever ordinary at Bet365. Whatever your bet, just download the app, get in on the game, use the code NATION. And Pike tonight, let's just backpedal 24 hours. I was sitting in that chair. Ryan Pinder was sitting in this chair.
And Pinder's in Toronto. Pinder's in Seattle now.
Pinder was watching an offensive game tonight. He was in Seattle. He saw Addison Barger, of all people, hit a home run.
He saw Vladdy hit a home run.
He saw Vladdy. He saw Springer. He saw Kirk. He saw Nathan Lucas continue his crazy postseason.
I suspect that the eyes of the sports watching nation, that is Canada, were transfixed, perhaps, with a little bit of apprehension on the Jays game this evening with it's playoff baseball. I don't think it's telling tales out of school to assume that was probably a more pressing matter for folks than the 5th game of the Flame season. And the Blue Jays, I think, lived up to their reputation as a team that finds a way to keep things interesting after losing 2 games at home. If you want to check out some coverage of that, go to Blue Jays Nation, our dear cousins. They do some very good work, and they're all over the series. And if you're following Pinder's socials, I assume we'll get some glary glimpses into his trip westward. Meanwhile, the Calgary Flames, if we're going to be extremely charitable, they're stumbling out of the gate.
Oh my gosh.
Stumbling might be being too kind. It hasn't been a good first 5 games.
By any respect,
they have been. I think the story coming out of, I wrote on FlamesNation.ca a story yesterday, whatever day it was, on Wednesday morning, coming out of the Tuesday night loss, about their just poor third periods. Like they had, they've been outshot, outchanced, and outscored. Like the only game this year they'd outscored the opposition in the third period was the one where Stuart Skinner put it on a tee for Blake Coleman and then closed his eyes and skated away from the net.
That's right.
And the other 4 were basically the other 3 were basically games where the Flames got trucked. They're outshot 9-1 in the first 4 games in the third period. They were outshot and outchanced in each of them. And this one, at least, they weren't outshot and outchanced in the third. Let's give them credit. But they were outscored. They gave up an empty net goal. So they are now through 5 games, outscored 10-1 in the third period. And they have lost 4 out of 5 to begin the season. Last year, their improbable run to within a tiebreaker of a playoff berth in the first year of the roster reconfiguration, retool, whatever the process you want to call this. Let's just call it the youthening. In the first year of the youthening process, they got as close as they did because they got off to that great start. This is not a great start. This is a very ungreat start to the season. And we'll get into this when we talk about the road ahead, Michael. But if you look at this, they have some teams ahead of them that if you look at the standings and you look at the body of work of the respective clubs, you go, oh God, this October could get away from them very quickly. You can make a case it's already gotten away from them, but it's going to be very challenging in the remainder of the games this month to reel it in.
Yeah. Hey, I like I was going to say, last night we talked a lot, Pinder and I, about what to expect tonight with Devin Cooley between the pipes. We expected Cooley to be the story. I don't know if we expected it to go this way, and I certainly don't think that we expected it to be a game with only 3 goals scored on goaltenders total.
It felt like this would be potentially a track meet.
Do you know
maybe in one direction more than the other?
Do you know combining Calgary and Buffalo, you know how many times those 2 teams scored tonight?
9.
9 times. 9 times.
9 times, and Calgary scored 1 of them.
You owe Boomer a nickel every time you use the soundboard gimmick.
I don't have access to it. Boomer has the trademark. It's a pretty poor impersonation.
If you were nicer to Boomer, maybe he'd give you the link.
It works better on radio. It looks just bad holding it like this. I try my best. The Flames scored 1 goal tonight. Rasmus Andersson got it. And before we get into that, we're going to talk to you about our excellent, much better than tonight's game, Super Chat, sponsored by the Youth Centers of Calgary. And I'm still haunted by Dean Molberg sending that silly horn at me at 2 a.m. last season. The Super Chat, though, is a real good thing, as opposed to Dean's soundboard. Proceeds from the Super Chat go to the Youth Centers of Calgary. It's a place where kids are welcomed and accepted as they are, a place where they get a break from the chronic stress that is the reality for many of their lives and can flourish through connection and fun. And we're already, I don't know if we've seen any Super Chats yet tonight, but we've seen some good messages in the chat here tonight.
I think we do have a Super Chat.
Do we have one? Let's put it up on the screen, Yasmin. $6.99 from Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy. The curse of 3 goals continue. Yep, you're right. The games where they score 3+, they win. Below, they lose. Last year was the same. 1 tonight. It was a bit of a fluke again, bouncing in off of a Utah defender, Dmitry Simashev. We'll show that in a second.
It was a nice play. I mean, you look at how it came together when we get to the clip. Smart things were done, and you get rewarded when you put pucks and bodies on net. They need to do that a bit more and more consistently. So, if we're gonna rag on them for not scoring goals, let's give them a small bit of credit for the ones they did score.
Yeah. I also have to just give a shout out to James Brooks. I'm not sure if you are James L. Brooks of the Simpsons fame or of broadcast news fame. I suspect probably not, but he had a great suggestion for me to teach Rhett the word numinal ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. I think that's an excellent idea because we are going to go for 2 hours tomorrow on Barn Burner in the morning, me and Rhett and producer Jack, and it's going to be an exercise in patience, I think, on Rhett's part.
Thing that makes me smile, James L. Brooks still alive.
Is he?
Yeah, he's 86. That's or 85. He turns 86 in May. That's exciting. I'm happy to learn that because he's done a lot of good stuff, including The Simpsons.
I remember when Norm Macdonald went on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and his celebrity phone a friend was Sam Simon from The Simpsons.
And I don't think worse ones.
That's a pretty good one.
You know who Simpsons related? You know who was on the third to last Mark Maron show? Mac Ryan.
Really?
They did 2 hours. It was really good. I listened to it on the bus to Edmonton. It was fantastic.
This goes to show how much we have to talk about. Where, let's see, 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in, we're plugging other podcasts.
I mean, we probably no one will be doing podcasts as much without Mark Maron. So
yeah, it's the end of an era. He saw where the Flames were going. He saw what Afterburner was having to recap on a nightly basis, and he said, "Pull the plug."
I mean, we can't prove that isn't what happened.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get on with the game. And Yasmin, I think we got that clip of Rasmus Andersson's opening goal in this contest at a point where the game looked relatively even in the early stages of period number 1 at Delta Center in Salt Lake City. The Flames,
the newly renovated
with the steepest sloping steps. In I believe either the upper bowl or the middle bowl or whatnot.
I think it's the lower bowl. Maybe all of them. They crammed everything
all
in.
of them. Yeah, it's not a hockey arena. It's a basketball arena, but they've made it work. Rasmus Andersson deflecting it in off of Dmitry Simashev, who I thought actually had a really good game.
As it looks like it went, you have the shot from Frost, the deflection from it goes, I believe, Andersson's stick off of the chest of Vimilka, off of Simashev and in. Whatever it is, it ping-pongs around quite a bit there.
Yeah, and Rasmus was fired up. I mean, we talked a little bit about Rasmus last night. I said some things about Rasmus that in polite company I might not otherwise say. I just said he's been playing a little under his standard, to paraphrase. But hey, I mean, it's good to see him get on the board after a couple of misses that he probably wants back. No, not probably, definitely wants back.
In the St. Louis game afterwards, he told us he thought he should have had at least 3. And then he had that one against Vegas at the far post at the end of the second period. That's probably like it haunts me, and it wasn't even on my stick.
We got another super chat from Robert Mulligan. Is Uyghur's tantrum in game 1 our new Weidman curse? Refs have been horrible ever since, and the linesman even found a way to chip in tonight. I really don't think so, but maybe. I mean, Uyghur's a bit of an outspoken guy. I don't think that's ever changed. Especially since he got to Calgary, people know who he is. He didn't punch anybody. He didn't.
That was a cross check, and it was a linesman.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I covered that game. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I don't know. I've seen bigger crash outs. I do want to give a shout out to Easy Kiz, who asked me if I got a first intermission Village ice cream. I did. So
what'd you get?
I had a Guides Mint double scoop.
Now, if any ice cream proprietors want to sponsor,
not a sponsor,
segments,
maybe could be a sponsor.
We do not currently have an ice cream sponsor of any of the Burner family of shows. So
official scoops.
If you would like to
scoops, Pike, no longer Pike Bomb, Pike Scoops. Brought to you by.
If you would like to sponsor,
insert ice cream.
Any segments on any of our fine programs, you can talk to the Wolverine, especially if you have ice cream.
This is the best thing to come out of tonight. Pike Scoops. We got to call us. Ryan Pender. He's a good guy. Give him a call. Yeah, no, that was me if you saw me. So yeah. Was that you who gave me the scoops? You didn't give me a discount. Anyway, we'll keep going on. The Flame. Sometimes I get, I know I left you a tip. The Flames were up 1-0 in this game. The second period, Pike.
What can we say about the second period? There were 2 seconds of the second period, Michael. There are 2 goals in a span of about 3:08, and then there are just counting all the penalties.
It was awful.
There was a lot of penalties.
The Flames didn't play at 5-on-5 for most of that second period. It was
there was
chaos
in a game of 20 minutes of hockey. They only played 13:41 at 5-on-5. They played a lot of. There was basically 20 minutes of penalties in this game where either team was on special teams, and then you're playing your second game in as many nights. The Flames, I don't know why it took off so late, but they didn't land in Salt Lake City until about 3 a.m. And then they proceed to have a game where they basically spend a period on special teams, and so they can't roll their lines. And the second period is when that really, really started to, I think, tax them.
Shots on goal in the second period, 18-3 in favor of the Utah Mammoth. One of those shots for Calgary was a dump in from center ice. That I don't even know. Like it was maybe heading toward the post.
I mean, we saw a goal that was a dump in from 150 feet. So I mean, let's not disparage the long. If we put it on net, it's still technically a shot on goal.
It's a shot on goal for sure. And Barrett Hayton and JJ Paterka getting the goals for the Utah Mammoth in period number 2.
Do we have clips?
I think we've got clips.
I think I'll say this. I'll say this for the Mammoth. The 2 goals they score were nice goals. I mean, the story of the game was Devin Cooley trying his damn best to keep his team in it, and I don't think you can really put any of these goals on him. No. I mean, this one, it's an attempt at a dump out that takes a weird bounce, and then a couple nice passes and it goes in. I mean, if you're Cooley, you probably think, oh, I could have made a better pass there, but he did what you're supposed to do. He put it in a non-dangerous position, and then it took a couple bounces that no one could have anticipated. So, this one's probably the one you go, like, maybe he could have done something better, but there's still a lot of guys in white that were sort of scrambling around in front of him.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I think, is just, again, Braden Pahal making a neat on the replay. His pass was definitely errant.
Let me just put it this way: not a good week to be a former Vegas Golden Knights defenseman playing for the Calgary Flames.
Not a good 36 hours.
Braden Pahal had a real rough night. Right after Janil Miramanov had a real rough night. It has been a bit of a tough sled for pretty much the majority of the Flames defensemen this season. And right there, I mean, Pahal was not the only one to join the penalty parade in that second period and throughout the game. But yeah, it was a tough one.
Yeah. I'll just quickly run through the penalties because we got time to fill the show. There's not a lot to talk about.
Barrett Hayton, a good player, by the way.
And you give Barrett Hayton a clean lane in the slot, and if you're Cooley, you just try to make yourself big. Same thing on the breakaway. That's two guys you don't want to put in dangerous positions with the puck on their sticks.
Yeah, Cooley gets a lot of the hype in Utah, but I think Hayton is a real strong two-way center for that group.
There are 2 Cooleys. There is a forward named Logan Cooley who plays for Utah.
That's right.
And he had 4 shots on goal and 0 goals because Devin Cooley, the goaltender for Calgary, made a bunch of saves on him.
We should talk at greater length about Devin Cooley, because I think if for all the talk that there has been around the backup position in Calgary and some of the people who have put the idea out there of making a change before giving Cooley a single game, which there have certainly been plenty of discussions about that. I do think, to his credit, Devin Cooley had an excellent outing tonight behind a team that looked, quite frankly, disinterested in playing in front of him for a lot of this game. The Flames had an opportunity in the third period to tie this game numerous times. Pike and I were sitting in the couch over there, and numerous times I said to Pike, I think the Flames are going to tie this game. They didn't. But the only reason that door was open, even a crack, is Devin Cooley made 16 saves in the second period, and a lot of them were just 10-bellers that he, quite frankly, shouldn't have made. A lot of instances last year, for example. I don't know. I mean, Wolf made a lot of those saves. There were games where Dan Vladar didn't make some of those saves. There have been games where a lot of Flames goaltenders haven't made some of those saves. And Devin Cooley, the back half of last season, didn't make a lot of those saves because he had a real difficult time after that injury. And tonight, he looked like that goaltender that we saw in the first half of last season, not the second half.
Yeah, this was AHL All-Star Cooley. Cooley, when he's at his best, is really good at anticipation, really good at sort of seeing plays develop. He's really good at sort of not overplaying the position and just sort of allowing his size and the correct amount of positioning to just make him big. And I think he did a really good job in this game. They did their level best, the Mammoth,
Wow.
the former Coyotes.
Hello.
The hockey club, where the hell they're called now, the not Yetis, the Utah copyright infringements. They did a nice job with traffic. They did a nice job with tips. They did a nice job with, a lot of like really good offensive plays that you go, oh, damn, they probably could have scored on that. And also, Cooley did a great job of anticipating, and I think you look at his body work, this might be the first time this season where, like, I'd say first 4 games of the year, Dustin Wolf has never been the reason the Flames lost. But you could also look at his body work and go, yeah, but he also didn't win the game for them. This was the type of game where Cooley was probably the best goaltending performance
of the season
for the Flames.
Yeah, probably.
And this was the game that Cooley needed to have. He's worked his backside off in the AHL, especially last year, coming back from a concussion. I mean, even if you're medically cleared, anyone who's had a concussion or any kind of other head injury knows that even if you are symptom free, you don't really feel like yourself for a while. And I think it was, he spoke to I believe Post Media and Sportsnet about it during the middle of camp, and A, commend him for being as open as he was about it,
yeah,
and B, I'd say that this is the fact that he's been able to work his way back, because I don't think he had a great camp. I also don't know if you can really, I'd say burn the tape in that 8-1 game. Like, neither goalie was particularly good. Neither was anyone in front of them. It was a game where you can't really use it to determine anything. But if that's the last time you saw Devin Cooley, I can understand some skepticism and some apprehension about his performance. So I think Flames fans and probably Flames brass look at this game and go, that's closer to the guy we thought we'd be seeing. And if he can, I don't think he's at the woods yet. I think you probably want to see him do that a few more times, ideally with a bit more run support. But, I don't think it's possible to fault him for this performance, because this was, he did everything he could to give them a chance to get 2 points, or even at 1 point.
We got producer Jack in the comments section. We've got a Jack Cam in the comments tonight. Things are really heating up down there. We're seeing some fans of rival teams. It's the Flames are 1-4. The thing is, Pike, I think there is a not insignificant chunk of folks who are watching this game and saying they're 1-4. At least that is something that is not in the middle of the pack. At least that is something that is a little bit of a deviation from what we've come to expect. That being said, it's the basically mirror opposite of what we saw last year. And that team ended up being the most average Flames team in a sea of average Flames teams that we've seen in the last little while, to the point where they set or tied a record for the most points without making the playoffs. So I don't know. It's still early. There's still lots of hockey to play. They did not look particularly convincing tonight.
And yeah, then you can say, yeah, they're missing Jonathan Huberdeau, who was one of their more creative offensive players. Yeah. And yeah, they're missing Martin Pospisil, who's just at his best a wrecking ball on the ice and just makes everybody else on the ice just stupider, because he just makes people mad. Like, other teams just do stupid stuff when Pospisil's on his game, and that's his value. But yeah, like, you're going to have to find ways to win when you don't have your players that you need to have. Like, the Flames found ways to win when they didn't have Backlund last year. They found ways to win when Kevin Ball was out, and they had like just a patchwork top four. Like, everyone has to go through it. I don't think, you think Florida is sort of sitting there going, oh, damn, don't have Barkov, don't have Kachuk. It's okay, whatever.
Towel,
yeah. Like, it's in a contact sport, in a professional sport, you got to find ways to win. And I think the most challenging thing for the Flames right now is it's almost the opposite. A team that had goaltending that, stole them points and allowed them to find ways to win games. Like, the goaltending hasn't been the difference in the way they have really needed to, but they've also, how many goals have they scored this year?
10 in 5 games.
And how many were goals you would say that's how they drew it up? 3?
2, maybe?
I'd say Coronado off the rush against St. Louis. That was a nice one. And then I think both goals against Vegas were how they drew it up.
I'm struggling to even
like the
remember them.
Backlund one-timer
Sure.
and I forget the other one against Vegas.
Yeah, sure. I don't even know. It has not been
Coleman off the Hanzik
sure
body check.
It has not been a particularly captivating season, at least start to this season. We do have another super chat from our buddy Ken Alicia.
Hi, Ken.
Who says tonight was a steaming pile of every aspect of this game was terrible. Very little positive tonight. Pike, is this the worst effort you have seen? Flames coaches get not one but two middle fingers. Wow.
I'd say no.
Middle fingers.
Ken's
not happy.
I've covered the team for 15 years. I've seen far worse efforts.
Have you ever gotten a middle finger from a coach?
No.
Have you ever gotten cussed at by a coach?
No.
Wow.
I had to think about that.
Yeah. You ever gotten shouted at by a coach?
Oh yeah,
of course. Me too. Against I'm not gonna one of the coaches.
We don't need to get into it. We don't need to get into it. No.
From the league today.
Don't get into it.
We're not gonna get into it, but we're gonna leave it. One of them in the league today. That's only 32 plus assistants. Yeah.
But no, can't. Like second half of back-to-back, you're always gonna have the fatigue, especially with the late game and the travel and all that other stuff. I mean, the easiest way to have that not be an issue, though, is to not get in penalty trouble and just use all your guys. I think when you completely stymie your own ability to stick to your game plan. The Flames on the road have traditionally been good, especially under Huska, when they stay out of the box, they roll four lines, they get on the forward check, they gradually whittle the team down with annoying forward checking until the other team starts making mistakes. Like we say they're a team that has to play a 60-minute game because they don't have game-breaking skill right now, so they have to be workmanlike. And workmanlike for this group is wear them down and make them make stupid mistakes near the game. Like again, that first period against Vegas was exactly how the Flames need to play to be effective because they scored a very nice goal off Sam Hanzik on the forecheck, forcing a guy to make a stupid decision with the puck. That is how they need to play. It wasn't the most beautiful play in the world, but it was exactly what they needed to do in that situation, and they couldn't follow up on it. Tonight was just a game where, because of the situation and how they made the situation worse for themselves. I mean, Justin Kirkland, you're putting in after he's a spectator for a couple of nights, and he plays 9 minutes. That doesn't help you.
Yeah,
Lomberg barely. He hardly played in the Vegas game because of the way that unfolded. So he's theoretically fresh legs for you. 8 minutes because of all the special teams.
I really question some of the deployment decisions. I also just recognize that it's a game with a lot of 5-on-4 or 4-on-4, and there's only certain things you can do. But by the same token, I don't know if I think these 12 forwards should be the 12 forwards come the end of the season. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of guys who aren't pulling their weight.
What'd you think of no Matt Vigridden tonight?
I didn't mind it because I think his last couple games he was starting to slip a little bit, and I don't mind having him watch a game, especially a back-to-back. I don't know if it's the end per se. I would maybe put him back in against Vegas, but I do think when guys get healthy, he'll be the guy who goes down first.
Not Hanzik?
Yeah, I think it'll be Gridden first.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, but it could go either way. I think Hanzik is more of a natural fit on his current line, whereas I think with Gridden, you're just sort of plugging him into different spots, like every other scorer right now. I think Hanzik can be in the bottom six for you. I don't think Gridden does. Exactly.
So I think Hanzik moves the needle less offensively, but I think we've seen him he's fit like a glove.
I really like
Coleman.
I really like what I've seen.
So if theoretically, if you got Huberdeau back for Saturday, we'll get into the road ahead stuff in a bit.
Yep.
But if you have Huberdeau back and theoretically, he's might be a possibility for Saturday. The Flames are off tomorrow and they practice on Friday. So we might get a hint of what their next moves are going to be in the next little bit. Because if Huberdeau is an option, they need to open a roster spot for him. Gridden and Hanzik are the only waiver exempt players in the team, so they can just send them straight down. They don't have to worry about it. But I'd also argue that of the 23 healthy bodies on the team, those guys haven't done anything to deserve demotion. And maybe we might see someone like Danil Miramanov on waivers instead.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, the offense has just been not promising, not present. I mean, the Mackenzie Weegar has 1 point in 5 games. Rasmus Anderson got his first point of the year tonight. Michael Backlund has 1 point in 5 games. Sharon Govich has 1 point in 5 games. Joel Farabee has 2 points in 5 games. I mean, there are 2 players on this team above a half a point a game. That's, they've scored 10 goals in 5 games. That's sort of what you expect. It is a group effort.
Do you want, plus minus only matters if you're really good or really bad at it. Do you know who the only player for the Flames with a positive plus minus is?
I do, because I'm looking right at it.
Yeah. It's surprising, isn't it?
It's Kevin Ball.
Kevin Ball is +1. Literally no one else in the team is a plus right now.
Weegar is a -6. Coronado is a -5.
Ooh, did Hockey DB update including tonight's game?
Yep. Coronado is a -5. And boy, how many great A's did he miss tonight? I mean, I like that they're trying to shuffle it up. I kind of liked the 2 top 6 lines that they went with towards the end of the game, with Zary playing with Kadri and Sharon Govich, and Coronado playing with Farabee and Frost. But
I'll give Huska credit. I mean, we've seen previous Flames coaches. Glenn Gulletson is probably the one that stands out in my mind the most prominently. That hell or high water would stick with their lines even if they weren't working, and then they make changes in between. Huska seems pretty content to go, okay, if it's not working, we'll just switch things up.
Remember the Jeff Ward line combinations?
Set in stone?
No.
The period by period.
Shift by shift. I remember the Gaudreau Monahan Joachim Nordstrom day. That was Joachim Nordstrom, Brett Ritchie, Josh Levo, Tyler Pitlick. I don't even know. There it was just
Blake Coleman leads the Flames in shots through 5 games with 12.
Yeah.
Rasmus Anderson is in double digits. He's got 2 per game. Yeah, this is a weird look. It's been a weird first 5 games.
Yeah. So
and not a good weird, just a weird.
Yeah, the Flames, after tonight's loss and tonight's Buffalo Sabres win, now sit alone in 31st in the entire National Hockey League at 1-4-0. The Buffalo Sabres scored 8 goals today in an 8-4 win over Ottawa. They are now 1-3-0, tied with the Ottawa Senators, who they beat. Those 2 teams have a 250 points percentage. The Flames are at 200. There's only one winless team remaining in the National Hockey League. That's the New York Islanders, who just drafted 1st overall.
You mentioned the Ottawa Senators. Shout out to our dear friend Julie McKenzie.
Yes.
And the only team in the National Hockey League, and they've played 4 games, that has a worse goal differential than the Flames. They're -10. The Flames are -9.
And the Senators were a playoff team last year. They're not getting any saves right now. It's been real tough. The Buffalo Sabres scored 8. They got Zach Benson back. Maybe they'll
in a game.
They scored 8 in a game. Josh Doan, former Utah Mammoth, had 3 assists today.
Isn't he forever a Mammoth? Is he forever a Mammoth? He never played for the Mammoth.
I guess he's formerly of the Utah Hockey Club.
The Utes.
Ugh.
The Fighting Utes.
Yeah, formerly of the Coyotes and the Mammoth and whatever.
8 goals for Buffalo is 1 more than the Islanders have scored all season in 3 games, and equal to in order, Vancouver, Utah, Edmonton, Utah and Edmonton, 1 fewer than the Flyers.
You know who else scored 8 tonight? The Chicago Blackhawks scored 8 tonight against the St. Louis Blues. That's, again, almost as many goals as the Flames have scored all season.
Yeah, the Poolies will love that.
The Flames have scored 10 goals in 5 games. They've allowed it 19. -9. That's the 2nd worst goal differential in the league. And just doing some quick maths, I think on a per game basis, they may have scored the fewest goals in the league as well.
So
it was Utah before tonight. Utah entering tonight's game had scored 5 goals in 3 games. Utah has now scored 8 goals in 4 games. So Utah and Calgary are tied with exactly 2 goals for per game, but Utah has a 2-2-0 record.
Now, if we're going to go full in the doom and gloom, hold on, I'm stalling so I can look something up. So the Flames next game, and we'll get into the road ahead momentarily, they're going to be playing their 14th game all time at T-Mobile Arena in scenic Las Vegas, Nevada, just off the strip. In 13 games.
What's their record, Pike?
There's 2-9-2. They've won 2 games and lost 11, 2 of which they got a point out of it.
Yeah.
They have been outscored in those games 50-25. No, that's not a typo. That's the real score. So they're headed. They got the nice thing for them is that they have a couple days to sort of, it's an off day tomorrow, and then they get a chance to sort of just get back to the practice ice and reconfigure themselves, get their heads right. But I think 6 games in is a little bit early to be going, biggest game of the season, do or die. But this is a team that last year was able to get into the playoff mix early and then play well enough to stick around. Even as the other teams, like, this is the time of year where most teams are still figuring their stuff out. Guys got hurt or working out of injuries in camp. Guys are getting the rust off. Like, we've seen, famously, Jerome McGinley was not a good October player. I think it's tough to be good in October because you're going from, everyone basically sleepwalking at times through training camp to playing full speed, and it can be tough. Like, veterans, even if they don't do it intentionally, I think leave something in the tank in September, and then I think it's tough to sort of flip the switch in October. But the Flames were arguably only in it last year because they had a really good October, and a lot of other teams just were flat out of the gate. The Flames figured out what they needed to do quickly and were in it, and it gave them enough of a buffer that when they had a couple losing skids, they had built up enough of a cushion that it didn't kill them. This is the opposite of that. They have built themselves to start the season, whatever the opposite of a cushion is, a chasm. Not quite a chasm, but they're in a hole. And this thing is in danger of getting away from them in a very big way, particularly when you look at the rest of their schedule.
Well, Ryan Pike, let's get into it with the road ahead, brought to you by Platinum Mitsubishi, the good folks up at 2720 Barlow Trail Northeast, home of the 10-year powertrain warranty on the 7-seat Outlander and the 5-seat Eclipse Cross and RVR SUVs, all equipped with all-wheel drive, perfect for the winter. Pike, it's getting pretty cold out there.
I had to scrape my windshield the other
Did
day.
you?
Yeah.
You know what? I left the window open on my car overnight. That's dangerous. That was tricky. That was
you might, if you do that overnight, you'll end up with a raccoon in your backseat.
You know what? Once upon a time, my dad had a car that was not a Mitsubishi, and he opened up the hood of the car one day, and it was full, almost to the brim, with pine cones, just stuffed in there.
On purpose?
Well, I'm sure
not on purpose for him.
I'm
but
sure the critters who put them there did it on purpose.
It's a good. I would argue. They always say in the either the warm month, the very warm month, the very cold months, you want to check your wheel wells for critters because it's a nice place to store snacks for the winter, and it's also a nice place to sleep because it retains heat.
Yeah. That I think Mitsubishis are critter proof. So go up to 2720 Barlow Trail Northeast. If you cross an Eclipse Cross, it'll get cross. And if you're a bird or a squirrel, you'll want to avoid that. So the road ahead is going to be a little bit of a bumpy one, Pike. We've been saying it since the start of the year. This October is a real tough gauntlet for the Flames.
We mentioned they got 2 days off, as in they don't skate Thursday, and then they practice Friday, and then they play Saturday. Starting Saturday, they play every other day for a while. And that could be a good thing because if you're playing well and you probably want to keep playing, but if you're not playing well, having a lot of hockey thrown at you in a hurry might not be the best recipe.
Yeah, not a ton of other back-to-backs, which is nice. They get these 2 out of the way early, then they don't really have. I think they maybe have 5 more all year. But it is still going to be a tough little run here. They got 2 days off, and then they're in Vegas on Saturday to take on, as you alluded to, the Golden Knights, who have had their number since they entered the league in 2017. And after that, Pike, it doesn't get any easier because they're going to be playing 3 games in Canada, all against Canadian teams, 1 in Winnipeg, 1 in Calgary against Winnipeg, and 1 in Calgary against Montreal, all in a 3-game stretch.
Ooh.
So Montreal looks incredible right now. They've got some sort of moxie bubbling underneath them.
That's Ivan Demidov. That's a fun team.
They've got as good a forward group as you got in the Eastern Conference, guys under 24 years of age. And Winnipeg's the reigning President's Trophy winner. And the Flames just got steamrolled by Winnipeg a couple times last season, including the game that I was at Canada Life Center in Winnipeg. That was a tough one. They got stoned by Eric Comrie. So I wonder if we'll see him in one or two of those games next week. And of course, the end of the month is going to be no easier because they take on the New York Rangers, who have been up and down. They can't score at home, but the Rangers are going to be on the road, so they might score at the Saddledome, followed by games against the Ottawa Senators and the Toronto Maple Leafs, both of whom made the playoffs last season.
Yeah, that trip at the end of the month looks a little bit tough because Toronto, Ottawa, and then a back-to-back in Nashville and Philadelphia before they head home. And I believe that Nashville game is the nation vacation, so the barn burner vacation. So I think that's going to be maybe that hooting and hollering from that group will inspire them to victory on November 1st. But between now and then, I mean, Ottawa on paper seems like an easier game,
a winnable game, perhaps.
Yeah, but like Toronto is tough, especially in Toronto. That's a tough building to play in, and it's a weird start time too. It's a 6:15 Eastern start time, 6:15 local time, because that's the weird day where ESPN does their Frozen Frenzy, Frozen Fury, what the hell it's called, where they sort of stagger all the games every 15 minutes. So everyone's playing at weird times, and if you're not playing well, being thrown out of your routine probably isn't ideal. Rangers, 6 o'clock on a Sunday. They have a lot of opponents that would pose pretty stiff opposition to them when they were playing at their best. If you say Calgary, Winnipeg, like we've seen some hell of a games between Calgary and Winnipeg when the Flames are at their best. And I don't think it's unfair to say at 1-4-0, they ain't at their best.
No, certainly not.
You know, what's the old saying? The only way out is through. Every team's got to play tough opposition, but this looks like a very challenging remainder of October.
Derek Knight in the comments, it's sometimes really nice to be recognized when you're at your best, to have people, give you feedback that you enjoy and really, really appreciate. And Derek is really spot on with this analysis. Gould looks half green / hungover. Do you disagree?
What's half green?
I don't know, but I think whenever I sit in this chair, my face just looks totally pallid. I think
it's the lighting.
I think it is. Like I sit in that chair and I look okay. You look okay.
Yeah, because I have beautiful rosy cheeks.
Well, rosy. Yeah. I appreciate it, Derek.
Well played.
Yeah, it's not. We gotta put a filter on there. I do like, Jack had an idea earlier on. Should we do a call-in show this year? I would maybe do one. I don't want to step on Pat's turf. We love Pat. But one show where we let these crazy people give us a ring.
I don't know how we do that.
We could probably make FaceTime happen and just send out Zoom links to everybody. We could sort of say apply here, put your info in, and we'll send you a text.
Jack, do we have to talk to legal about that, or
we probably do? Yeah,
we should probably check with Copenhagen and see if they're okay with that.
Sweepstakes, does that count as a sweepstakes? Does talking to us count as a prize?
It's not. It's anything as a punishment. But I was just thinking, like, oh goodness, we should get our libel attorney or
libel attorney.
Yeah.
Libel is in print. It's spoken, it's slander.
I'm very familiar with our Canada's libel laws.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
I'll tell you off air.
Related to a head coach yelling at you?
No. Pre-nation days, but yeah.
There you go.
One of these days we should have an events, and the lure will be we can tell stories off mic that we can't tell in person, or we can't tell on mic.
That's right. Like the time that I
No, we're not getting to that.
We've run out of time. Platinum Mitsubishi, thank you for your support for the road ahead. Pike, it's going to be like I said, a bumpy road. Hey, maybe the Flames should go to Vegas from Utah, not in a jet or in a Boeing plane, but in an Outlander, a fleet of Outlanders, 7 seats. You only need 4 of them, probably.
Because remember that one year where Goldson had them? They went on the train.
They all got
hammered.
Yeah, and they had Chris Versteeg dressed up as like a conductor having beers. It was. Remember that photo? They had the photo.
The photo at the train station was fantastic. Yeah, that was just. But I mean, like maybe there's the kind of thing where they just need, like, maybe instead of taking a flight to Vegas, they have trains. A train that goes from Salt Lake City to Vegas, because that seems like the kind of, if you have an off day anyway, it seems like a kind of day where you're like, you know what, let's just offensively, they're gripping. I think they're gripping the sticks a little bit tight. Like they've had a lot of chances. They just found ways not to bury. Defensively, though, they need to tighten.
Yeah, they need somebody to not drive the bus, drive the Outlander for them. It's been we're just gonna keep going. We're just gonna keep going with as many little things as we can slip in. Yasmin, I forgot to ask you to play a certain clip. I think we're gonna get it on. Devin Cooley tonight. I couldn't stop thinking every time he stopped the puck. Yasmin, let's go.
I'm so sorry. It won't play.
It won't play.
It says it's too short.
Let me do my impression.
Yeah.
I'm looking blue anyway. I've got the blue on my screen. Just imagine I'm German or Austrian, and I'm very tall, and I'm very muscular. You are not sending me to the cooler. The Iceman cometh. We had Frost. We were doing this with Frost, and now it's Devin Cooley's time. We can't get the Arnold on the show. We're gonna fix this for tomorrow morning because we need some Arnold. It's the only way we're gonna get through this.
It's gonna be Barn Burner on Thursday. It's gonna be like when in school where he had a substitute teacher. They're just like putting a movie on.
Tonight's forecast: a freeze is coming.
Just watch a Ken Burns documentary. It'll be fine. You can just coast through the work day with a Ken Burns documentary.
It'll be great. We should give a shout out to our buddy Derek Newman, and I do have an official Afterburner correction. This is a real important thing because Derek Newman, he doesn't miss anything. He dots his I's, he crosses his T's. He is a realtor. He leads a group of realtors who are just absolutely on the ball. They don't make mistakes. In yesterday's show, Ryan Pike, I made a bit of a mistake. We don't have the clip of this.
I am shocked. This is shocking. I am shaken to my core.
We received a message. We received some correspondence from our buddy Derek Newman after the show. And I have to apologize. I have an anecdote that I sometimes bring up with respect to Derek Newman, that one of his relatives was my piano teacher when I was 5 years old. A great dear family friend, Anne Newman. And I mistakenly referred to her as Derek's aunt. She's actually his mom. She's his mom. And I'm sorry, Derek, because your support to our show is just of truly utmost importance to us. And we want to make sure we get everything right. Like, for example, making note that customer service comes before everything when you work with Derek Newman. And if you buy or you sell, you can let Derek do the work for you by emailing him at dnewman@cirrealty.ca or calling 403-619-6661 or visiting dereknewmangroup.com. And maybe you can get some piano lessons out of it. So there's Derek Newman. We appreciate it, Derek, and I'm sorry. That sounds.
I don't know if you should be tacking on piano lessons.
That sounds
sounds sincere. Would Derek be doing the piano lessons, or would his mom?
He had a pretty good teacher. I'm pretty sure he could maybe send along some tips.
But isn't he busy running this very successful practice? I mean,
I might have said too much.
He's probably good at delegating. He might be able to find some time to teach you how to play piano.
Yeah, well, he's got intermediaries, he's got people, because he's got a great team. He's got a team that is really ready for everything. It's true,
including figuring out how to get you to learn how to play piano again.
Keys, just play them in order. And truly, when you buy a house with Derek Newman or you sell your house through Derek Newman, it sounds like an absolute Mozart symphony on the piano, a concerto, if you will. So that's the experience with Derek Newman. We appreciate you. CIR Realty. D. Newman at cirrealty.ca. Pike. Buying and selling. It's a little early to be talking about stuff like that. But you mentioned earlier
77 games left to go.
77 games. It's maybe a little premature, but you mentioned earlier in the show maybe Daniil Miramanov waivers inbound. Maybe, who knows? The performance against Vegas the other night was not entirely convincing. Is there any other change you would make early in this season? Are there any other players you'd like to see? Is there anybody who's been impressive on the farm so far in the early stages of the year? It's been only a couple games.
I mean, the Wranglers,
the Wranglers
have scored 5 goals.
Had a bit of a tough
lost
go.
Both games. I'll tell you, Owen Say.
Say
first NHL or first AHL game, first pro game He allowed 1 goal in a 1-0 loss. He was quite good. He much like Devin Cooley this evening. He deserved a better fate than picking up the L. But I know it's early. Let's say they got some college players that are playing really well.
Yeah.
They got some
Cole
junior
Reshny.
players. Cole Reshny, Jaden Lipinski is 4 points in 2 games.
Ethan Wittenbach.
Wittenbach just ECAC conference
rookie of the week. Yeah.
It's early. They got some guys who are starting to put it together. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Rapid City gets going this coming weekend.
Arsenij Sergayev, yeah.
It sounds like Sergayev will be starting that game. For those of you looking for something to do next weekend, the Wranglers play, I believe, Friday and Saturday at the Dome. That's their first 2 games of the season. That's always good. They're playing Coachella.
Always a good watch.
So if you really want to boo some players, the Wranglers have been knocked out of the playoffs 3 years in a row by Coachella Valley. It's 2 teams that do not like each other. Good seats still available. And I think the Wranglers play this weekend. I forget who they play against or where, but they play, I think, Friday and Saturday.
Head on down to support friend of the Backburner show, Brett Sutter, behind the bench in his first home games as head coach of the Calgary Wranglers.
Yeah. I mean, do we count interim coach games?
Yeah.
Let's not.
I wouldn't.
But then if we don't count interim coach games, we can't talk about him being an AHL All-Star coach.
That's true.
So
I'm
first games is permanent head coach. Let's put that way.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of Owen Say, just because my nickname for him is the Anthem. Owen Say, can you see?
What else you got?
That's my nickname. I think it's pretty good. We should keep going with a place that will be a hot spot, especially after Flames losses, perhaps going forward. But also before
I would say
Flames games.
hot spot all the time.
Hot spot all the time, but after a loss like tonight, you might want to head there a little bit longer.
Or if you're potentially looking for a place to watch some playoff baseball.
Yeah. Or just to blow off some steam, throw some darts against the wall. Head on over to the Unicorn, a great spot. Pike and I have been. I want to go to the one downtown. It's on my list. We both checked out the one on 4th. We had a great time a couple weeks ago, checking it out with the great folks down there. They treated us extremely well. It's a beautiful spot. It's a great location. There have been some different places in that location through the years, and I think the Unicorn is just a fantastic use of that spot on 4th Street, which is a really cool part of town.
Walking distance to the Dome, too.
And it's walking distance to the Dome. They kept hammering this home to us, and it's a great point. There are some pubs that are the official, establishments of the Flames. But if you're going to the official establishments of the Flames up in Red Deer, you can't exactly walk to the Dome. And the Unicorn's 2 locations are the only. I mean, you could.
I'm trying to figure out how you do that.
How you walk to the Dome from Red Deer?
Hold on. Keep doing the segment. I gotta double check this. I gotta see how long it would take.
Oh, I thought you were just saying how do I keep making that, I keep saying that you can't exactly walk to the Dome from Red Deer. I think I've said it at all 5 shows.
You can walk to the Dome from anywhere if you have a tolerance for 32 hours of walking.
32 hours? Holy smokes. Yeah, head to the Unicorn, the downtown location, Calgary Super Pub, 3 floors, 3 bars, 1 destination. It's the Sports Cantina. And you can bet they'll have the Blue Jays on TV. And the Blue Jays won big tonight, 13-4. Pretty much everybody who needed to get hot got hot. Hit a home run. Addison Barger hit a home run. Springer hit a home run. Vladdy hit a home run. I think Alejandro Kirk hit a home run.
And you know what day tomorrow is, right?
Friday?
No, it's Thursday.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Max Scherzer starting a playoff game for the Toronto Blue Jays. A sentence I didn't think I would ever get to say.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
It is Thursday, but it's also Thursday.
I guess it's
as they try to tie the ALCS.
Yeah, it's a short week holiday. Ugh, good Lord. Well, yes, that's right. Tomorrow is Thursday. Max Scherzer's on the bump against the Mariners, with the Blue Jays now trailing that series 2-1. They're back in it, Pike.
In a series that so far the road team has won every game.
Yeah.
And some of the games were not particularly close. So this is the swing game. I think this game will determine probably who wins the series.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a huge one. And that takes us into our Bet365 bet of the day, because tomorrow's game, Scherzer has not pitched in these playoffs yet. It's going to be absolutely chaotic to see him on the bump at 41 years of age, making his first playoff appearance since he was in Texas. He has been up and down this season. He's had moments where he's looked like an absolute ace. He's had moments where he's looked like 41-year-old Max Scherzer. And tomorrow, it is one of the most high leverage starts for any Blue Jays pitcher since the David Price months. But who knows how it's going to go? Yasmin, we have these odds because the Jays are not the favorite. The Mariners are favored, and you would expect that after they won 2 games in Toronto and led this series 2-0. Now 2-1. The over set at 7.5 runs total. I would maybe take the over on that with how much the Jays can punt the ball out of play, as they did numerous times tonight. But and with Scherzer, I mean, it could truly go either way. It could be a dominant performance going long, although not as long as he should, given the Jays' preponderance to pull pitchers early.
Yeah, it's tough one to read because like Scherzer hasn't played at all in this playoff. He wasn't on the roster for the ALDS. Luis Castillo has played 6 innings. So I mean, even if you want to be like, well, we know a little bit more about Luis Castillo, kind of, but not really.
Yeah,
and like it's a situation where I think the mettle of both pitchers and therefore both teams are going to be tested. So like this feels like the kind of game where, based on the level of unknowns, maybe you would want to hammer the over.
Our buddy Ryan Pinder is in Seattle. He was at today's game. I actually don't know if he's going to be at tomorrow's game. I think he will.
I think he will be.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to go to Seattle, you might as well go to both. And we wish him all the best down there. We hope he can come home with a 2-2 tie in place. Even more reason to go to the Unicorn.
If he comes home, it would be a 3-2 series because it's a 2-3-2.
Geez, you're right. Good Lord. I think we're getting close to an hour tonight, and boy, oh boy. You know what? It's baseball. It's just a wonderful sport, Pike.
Yeah,
it truly is. It's the best time of year to be a sports fan. You got hockey, you got baseball, you got basketball, you got football. Everything's happening. And we're even hearing drama about the Olympics. The NHL doesn't like the ice that they're using in Italy.
The arena's not done yet.
It's not done. So we shall see. There's a lot going on. Pike, any last thoughts from tonight's game? Again, a 3-1 loss in Utah.
No, I think, there's some things the Flames need to get fixing and get fixing quickly. And I shout out to Devin Cooley. We, as much as we're like, you want to get hyperbolic and go, this is the biggest start of Devin Cooley's NHL career to this point. Probably was. If he just completely lays an egg in this game, this might be the kind of situation where, because of how thin the margins are for this hockey club, we might not ever see him again.
They might have made a move.
He might have forced their hand.
They probably don't have to now.
I don't know if he's out of the woods, but I think
there's no reason to.
He's done everything he could to make a case that Devin Cooley can be the answer as backup. And I think for this is a team that through 5 games has some question marks, and in some areas some big question marks. I think backup goalie is, based on this game, it's not a primary concern anymore. I think you, so to speak, back burner it for a little bit because I think he did enough to sort of cool things on that front a bit. Cooley did enough to cool things. Oh God, now you're making me do it. And a nice for those of you who are wanting to find out more about the Blue Jays and their miraculous, insane playoff run, BlueJaysNation.com is your source for all your Toronto Blue Jays stuff. They're all over it. I'm skimming the website right now, and they have it's like a fire hose of content. So they'll keep you up to date on all the Blue Jays stuff that you need.
Tomorrow I will be back in this studio in the morning to have a little chat with our buddy Rhett Warner and our buddy producer Jack on the Barnburner Show. It's going to be a lot of fun. I look forward to it. I appreciate Pinder and Boomer for taking a little soiree to give me the chair for a day. It'll be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll call Pinder, and I'm sure for the Pinder report at some point.
I told when I saw him on Tuesday, I told him not to touch the gum wall. He just sort of smiled at me. So I'm worried that he might.
He might be in the hospital with an enlarged head, like Daryl Strawberry in that episode of The Simpsons. If he touches that gum wall too long.
Yeah, there's some Seattle is a beautiful city. I love so many things about Seattle. the gum wall is just weird. Man.
It's gross.
It's just, I don't get it.
It's gross. Coming up on Saturday, it'll be the In the Dome boys on the post-game show against Vegas. Until then, our special thanks to Bet365, the Youth Centers of Calgary, Derek Newman and his mom, Platinum Mitsubishi, and the Unicorn for their help tonight. Pike, appreciate it as always. This was a lot of fun. And Yasmin in the back. I didn't shout you out last time, Yasmin, but you just did a wonderful job tonight, as always.
Thank you very much.
Of course. And producer Jack, thanks for tuning in while you're not doing your job in the comments tonight. For everybody in the chat, thank you for your super chats. Thank you for tuning in. And one more time, this has been the latest edition of the Flames Nation Afterburner Show.